Hello, and welcome back to Bible Wits Bible Corner. Tonight we're going to get back into the book of Acts. I'm going to start chapter 2, and I'm going to read verses 1 through 6, starting with the English Standard Version. When the day of Pentecost arrived, they were all together in one place, and suddenly there came from heaven a sound like a mighty rushing wind, and it filled the entire house where they were sitting, and divided tongues as a fire appearing to them, and rested on each one of them. And they were all filled with the Holy Spirit, and began to speak in other languages, or in other tongues, as the Spirit gave them utterance. Now there were dwelling in Jerusalem Jews, devout men from every nation under heaven, and at this sound the multitude came together, and they were bewildered, because each one was hearing them speak in his own language. New Century Version. When the day of Pentecost came, they were all together in one place. Suddenly, a noise like a strong blowing wind came from heaven and filled the whole house where they were sitting. They saw something like flames of fire that were separated and stood over each person there. They were all filled with the Holy Spirit, and they began to speak different languages by the power the Holy Spirit was giving them. There were some religious Jews staying in Jerusalem, who were from every country in the world. When they heard this noise, a crowd came together. They were all surprised, because each one heard them speaking in his own language. Okay. So now we have the gift of the Holy Spirit being given to these apostles. So, and the first thing they start doing is speaking in different tongues. Now, I want to point out something here that I found interesting reading this. I have never really heard anyone else talk about this, but Jews were there from every known country at that time, all gathered in Jerusalem. So there must have been an important, it was the day of Pentecost, so there's an important feast, and they were all gathering together for this feast. Now, the key thing, I want to get back to that, from every country. The Jewish nation, the Jewish religion, however you want to term it, had spread. It was no longer in that one tiny little country. It had spread everywhere. And that's exactly what God had planned for Christianity, as we call it. Spreading the news of Jesus Christ. And it started with this. When these people came together to hear these apostles, they each heard them in their own languages. So the news was already beginning to spread about Jesus Christ, which is a good thing, because it went from there to where we are today. Persecutions then, persecutions today, all this and that. Still, it has spread, and it is still spreading, although there are times when we think that it's getting weak because we don't see that it's spreading. So, I hope you find encouragement in this, and I hope you have a wonderful, God-centered day. Bye.